All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, it's no secret that all star forward Kevin Durant was going to be traded this summer, but the only mystery was in regards to which team that he was going to be dealt to. Well, that's no longer a mystery. As yesterday, the news was announced that Durant is going to be taking his talents next season to Houston as he'll be playing for the Rockets. So the Suns and Rockets agreed for this deal that's going to send the former NBA MVP to Houston in exchange for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the 10th overall pick in this week's NBA draft, and 5 second-round picks. Now, you hear all of that, and some people are going to ask, well, did the Rockets, pardon me, yeah, did the Rockets give up too much to get KD? Because you look at Jalen Green, a young and upcoming player. He was also Houston's leading scorer during the regular season. Of course, did not have a good postseason series for the Rockets as they fell to the Golden State Warriors in 7 games. But nonetheless, the future is bright for that young man. But even without Jalen Green no longer being on the Rockets, they still got a lot of young talent. You're looking at Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepard, and Jabari Smith. And these are some players that I think Houston is very high on as far as being able to take that next step up for the coming year and the coming seasons after that as well. So you're gonna look at a Houston team. You still got the likes of KD, of course, Alperen Sengun, Fred Van Fleet, Amen Thompson. So there is a lot of talent for the Rockets to work with. This is going to be KD's fifth different NBA team that he's played for, and you have to wonder, is it going to be his last? Kevin Durant will be 37 in the month of September, just before the start of this NBA season. But I got news for you. This is a guy who could still light it up, and he is still among the best scorers in the game of basketball. Now, on the flip side for the Suns, some people might say, well, Phoenix is rebuilding. I'm of the category to say, you know what? The Suns simply might be retooling. I mean, you look at it, if you're Phoenix and you could come off of KD, you're going to have the 10th overall pick now for Wednesday night in the first round. And that's big because the Suns didn't have a lot of picks because they gave up so much to get the likes of Brad Beal and Kevin Durant in separate deals here. So now you have an opportunity to restock some draft capital at with the 10th overall pick in a very deep draft this year. You have an opportunity to get yourself a quality player. On top of that, you've got Jalen Green along with Devin Booker. And I think that is going to give Phoenix a solid 1-2 scoring combo. Of course, I'm not mentioning Bradley Beal right there because I truly do feel that Phoenix is going to get off of Brad Beal. It's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to trade Brad Beal than it was Kevin Durant. Beal, he's owed more than 53 million dollars for the next season, with a player option for 57 million dollars for the following year. And of course, Brad Beal showed, unfortunately, during his time with Phoenix that he wasn't that good third option for that team. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think he can fit with another team out there, yes. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Suns figure that out. But nonetheless, you've got Devin Booker, you've got Jalen Green, and then they have the 10th overall pick in this draft on Wednesday. So if you're the Phoenix Suns, you have an opportunity to get back on track. They need more stability. Okay, do the Suns. Again, since they got a new owner, he came in, like I said, trying to basically add water and stir in regards to getting an NBA championship. And he's realizing, guess what? It doesn't work like that. You can't keep firing championship head coaches every single year. So the Suns need more stability, and they feel like they could still build around Devin Booker. And this is definitely a step in that direction, in my opinion. So you're looking at the Rockets. And clearly for me, I feel like Houston is all in for 2026. And you look at the quick turnaround that the Rockets have enjoyed. I mean, it's one of those where they had all of those draft picks and they started, bringing all of those young guys together. And then I think, a coach like Ime Udoka, to really get things going. Just look at 2 years ago. Houston had, or actually 3 years ago, the Rockets lost 62 games, followed by 60 losses in 2023. And if you want to take it a step further, when they were at the start of this rebuild in 2021, they went 17-55. This team has quickly turned it around. They won 52 games this past season. And I think, if you're the Rockets, it's one of those where you're bringing in a guy like Kevin Durant because you feel like he is going to be somebody who's going to get you over the hump in order to win that NBA championship. Of course, I mentioned Ime Udoka. They've got the stability now at the head coaching position. We just saw Udoka get that contract extension from the Rockets right after the New York Knicks wanted to interview him for their current head coaching position. But of course, Houston said no. And of course, they decided to take care of their guy. So when you look at it, you ask yourself, who won this trade? I'll tell you like this. I think short term, Houston won this trade because you get Kevin Durant. And again, if you feel like he is the missing piece to get you an NBA championship, so be it. But I think long term, this is going to be a deal that is going to work in the favor of the Phoenix Suns because Jalen Green is a legit star. And of course, or he's a rising star, should I say? Okay, we know what Devin Booker is. All right, but nonetheless, I feel like that's going to be a very interesting combo for the Suns, and I really want to see what Phoenix is going to do with that 10th overall pick this Wednesday night in the draft. So it's one of those. I'm not going to sit up there and say that the Houston Rockets are a championship team for next season because I still want to see what other moves are made between the draft. There's going to be some trades Wednesday and Thursday night, and then of course with free agency. So I really want to see how things shape out. But nonetheless, it was probably going to be Phoenix, or pardon me, Houston, San Antonio, or Miami. Those are KD's preferred destinations. And I think it works out for everybody because I feel like Miami didn't have the draft capital to go out there and make this move work. That's number one. And even with KD, I'm not going to say that Miami is going to be closer to being a championship team. With San Antonio, they've still got some things to iron out, if you're the Spurs. But I still like the direction that franchise is going in. I feel like for Kevin Durant, I feel like Houston was the best option for him, and they made it happen. And again, KD, when healthy, is still one of the best scorers in the game. And I think for all of the young talent that the Rockets have, and they have shown that they've had, this past season, I think they were missing that finisher, that guy who could go out there and put a team on his back, and more importantly, get those clutch buckets. They've got that right now. So, like I said, I'm not going to sit up there and pencil in the Rockets as being a championship team, but nonetheless, this is definitely going to have them trending upwards. Like I said, I still want to see what other moves are made by teams during this summer heading into next season. But nonetheless, big bombshell. KD is a Houston Rocket, and I think it's so funny. I'm sure they're not going to be the first person to say this, but you think about that trio that was together briefly with OKC many years ago now. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant. They've all spent some time with the Rockets. And of course, James Harden clearly had the longest tenure with the Rockets because he was traded there by OKC after the Thunder went to the finals in 2011. But nonetheless, let's see if Kevin Durant, who played his one college career, season in the Lone Star State in Austin, Texas, will be able to bring an NBA championship to H-Town. We've got to wait and see how that plays out. But nonetheless, KD has himself a new basketball home heading into next season. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw in this podcast, you know what to do. hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 pounds of sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. That also goes the same for Instagram, where you could check me out at 300 pounds of sports knowledge. You give me that follow, I'll give you that follow right back. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can check us out at the 300 pounds of sports knowledge page. It's basically the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.